found love, the real love. Let this be the real thing. Tell me now, what's on your mind? Whisper soft to me that you want me. There's magic in your fingertips, it's magic when we kiss. I can be myself with you, kiss me now, I insist. Make me yours, just take me now, I'm helpless to resist. Got me so invested in this thing, it's more than just a fling. It's more than just a fling. It's more than just a fling. I can't help that it is more than just a fling. Now I know that it's the real thing, the real thing. Take your time, I'm on a high, high. My body yearns for you to touch me. No, there's magic in your fingertips, it's magic when we kiss. I can be myself with you, kiss me now, I insist. Make me yours, just take me now, I'm helpless to resist. Got me so invested in this thing, it's more than just a fling. It's more than just a fling. It's more than just a fling. I can't help that it is more than just a fling. Now I know that it's the real thing, the real thing.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to Bella's Corner, where the truth is delivered with love. Thank you so much for joining me. I greatly appreciate it. If you can hear me, please put a 1 in the chat. If you can hear me, please put a 1 in the chat. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well this evening. It is good to see everyone. Hello, Almond Eyes. Hello, Remnant Princess. Thank you for sending in the ones, everybody. Fantastic to see all of you. Log in. So, hi, Joseph. Thank you for being a channel member. I greatly appreciate you. Good evening, Mona. Hello, Mona. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you to you, ma'am, as well, for being a channel member. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Good evening, Bobby. Thank you so much for being here. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe as you come in. Again, please hit that like button as you make your way in.
My name is Jillian. I'm 20 years old. I'm from Canada. The highest level of education completed was high school. I decided not to go to college, and I said I'm single, right?
And then what do you do for work?
I'm a writer.
Okay. It's not for Vice though, right?
No,
Okay.
no, I saw that in the comments.
Yeah, fuck
No.
Vice. Okay. What about you?
Hi, my name is Hollywood. I'm a
Ladies, always remember to please keep it classy and never, ever, ever trashy. Remain classy in your decorum, in the way you behave, in your attitude, in your demeanor. You don't always have to have on dresses, but always look like a lady. Personally, I always like to add my feminine touch, even if I am wearing jeans, even like today. So always just be yourself, be classy, add a little pop, add a little fun and flair to your outfit. And again, always keep it classy and never, ever trashy. Again, hello everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Bella's Corner, where the truth is delivered with love. Today we are talking about the wife resume. Ladies, what is on your wife resume? Do you think you're ready to be a wife? Are you currently working toward being a wife? Are you ready and getting ready to get up under a good man's program? Because I emphasize the good part because, of course, we've got naysayers and folks who just seem not to understand the context of conversation, always asking about why would I submit to a man who can't do anything, who's lazy, who doesn't work, yada, yada, yada. We're not talking about lazy men. We're not talking about unproductive men. Over here in Bella's Corner, I am assisting the ladies with preparing to be married to a productive, good, masculine man. A man who has a good and beneficial program to get on. A man who is ready to lead, teach, provide, protect. Men who are ready to be fathers. Men who are willing and ready to pour into a woman. Even young men and men who are healing perhaps from past relationships, but those who still desire relationship, marriage, a family. I'm helping those ladies prepare for those types of men, not for the dusties. Again, not for the unproductive male. Okay? Good evening, Smoke and Talk. Good to see you. So I just wanted to make that clear. So I'm going to drop the link for any ladies to come up who want to discuss this with me. Doesn't matter if you're married or not. I'm going to pull up the wife resume I created, and we're going to talk about a particular section on tonight. Good to see you, Brianna. We are going to talk about a particular section in the wife resume tonight. Okay. So the link is currently in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and pin it. Fem Jams, I was calling you out on my last live stream because I want you to go ahead to come on and call in because I have something to say to you, ma'am. So hit the link when you're ready. And thank you so much for being here. We're talking about the wife resume tonight. Okay, can you guys hear that train in the background? I don't know. This is the I live streamed last night and there was a train as well chugging along, and that usually doesn't happen at night. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the wife resume that I created. And we are going to talk about it. So, ladies, if you're new here, this is the wife resume that I created about a year ago. Oh, so you could hear it. Oh, okay. It's still going. Sorry. Okay. But this is the wife resume, the future wife resume I created about a year ago. And there is a video in which I live streamed and talked about the wife resume. It is currently under members only. So put yourself on wife support, even if it's only for a month. Go ahead and put yourself on wife support so you can check that out. So you can begin yourself, your introspection era, phase, season, process, which is really a lifelong process. But so you can start today, even if, again, it's only for a month. But we're just going to go over one section today, which is your character and your personality. Again, I created this about a year ago because I kind of wanted something tangible that the ladies could use in order to properly, in a sense, evaluate herself. And I thought this was a good kind of fun thing to start with. Okay. So, future wife, whatever your age is, again, we are going to talk about your character. And again, the link is pinned for those who want to talk about this. And I'm even going to open it up to the gentlemen. If you're looking for a wife, or if you're currently married, what are some things that drew you to your wife, to her mindset? What about your wife's character and personality drew you? To the ladies who are tuned in, married or unmarried, what does your character say about you? What does your personality say? And the ladies who are married, what captivated you, your husband? What about your personality captivated your husband that ultimately caused him to marry you? Hi, Miss Lucchese. Thank you for being here. Oh, excuse me, Miss Lucy. Thank you so much for being here, ma'am. Please check her out, ladies. Mods in the chat, please drop all links associated with Miss Lucy. And all mods, go ahead and drop your links as well in the chat. Thank you for being here. Hello, MW. Okay. So we're going to talk about character, your character and personality, and we might get into some competencies, but we'll see. Okay, ladies, so as you can see, I have quite a few here. Submissive, kind and nurturing, honesty, trustworthiness, receptive, funny, goofiness, classiness. Being sexually kept, sexually disciplined, unexperienced. Being faith and or moral driven. And this future wife has minimal baggage. Ladies, how do you measure up, or how did you measure up? Rather than being submissive, ladies, are you combative? Are you unmalleable? Are you hard-headed, stubborn, too smart for your own good? That means you're unwilling to learn. That means you are not willing and ready to get on a man's program. If you find your friends or family, those who keep it real with you, ladies, if you find them saying, girl, you're so stubborn. Girl, stop being so stubborn. Oh, you so hard-headed. I need you to know, ladies, that is a red flag for marriage. And a masculine, productive man is not going to, or will seriously have some serious, hesitancies with committing to you, with marrying you, if he sees that you are hard-headed. Okay? Brianna says, I am working on my patience. Excellent. Yes, a lot of ladies are impatient. Why are you impatient? How I worked on my patience, ladies, Brianna, is I basically try to, when I feel the urge to be impatient, or that I want to go, or hurry up, go, I say to myself, am I in harm's way? Is this a life or death situation? Is this urgent? Really. Is this urgent? Does this need to get done now? Will it affect me if it doesn't get done within the next hour? If the answers to those questions were no, I calm myself down. I went ahead and reeled myself on back. Because ladies, again, if it doesn't need to get done now, if you don't need it now, if it isn't urgent, there's no need to rush. There's no need to rush your man. There's no need to rush yourself. There's no need to get yourself in an anxiety-filled fuss over something that's minuscule, or over something, again, that isn't necessarily urgent. Breathe. Get yourself to calm down. Talk to yourself. Say, calm down. Say, be more patient. Literally tell yourself, speak to yourself. And as you do that, time after time, that is what will help your patience increase. Because trust me, you're going to need patience for the rest of your life. You're going to need patience with your husband. When you start having children, you're going to need a whole lot of patience with children as well. Today is the day to start working on these things now. Are you receptive? Are you receptive to change? Hi, Christopher. Are you receptive to change, to instruction? Do you always take yourself seriously? Do you have a sense of humor? Come on, ladies, don't be boring. Also, in being receptive means that when your man steps to you, you are emotionally available to him and accepting of the criticism, and the opinions of whatever he has within. Whether it be something concerning politics, whether you agree or disagree. Whether it be how perhaps you need to, work on your tone toward him. Or how he's coming to you and explaining that he felt disrespected, or you disrespected him in a certain situation. Are you receptive and open to receiving that criticism, to receiving the fact that, hey, it's time to self-correct because this was a red flag to him. And if I continue to do this behavior, I could lose him. Ladies, I'm not saying to constantly be quivering in your boots, shaking in your boots, saying, oh my God, if I mess up even just a little inty teensy weensy bit, he's going to leave me. That is not what I'm trying to get across to you. But I want to urge you, I want to emphasize rather to you the importance of self-correction. A productive masculine man who has other things to worry about on top of pleasing you does not have time, and eventually his patience will run out if he constantly has to tell you the same thing over and over and over again. Baby, your attitude. Baby, I don't appreciate your tone. Baby, your attitude. I need you to work on that. I need you to calm down before. His patience will run out. Are you receptive and willing to take the correction outside of your emotions? We talk about emotional intelligence over here. I'm going to pull you up in just a moment. I see you in the back. Okay. Mona says, yes, we will need grace, but grace doesn't absolve wives from correction. Exactly. You give him grace. Extend grace to him as he extends grace to you. Trust me, y'all. My husband has extended plenty of grace to me. For example, particularly with our first child. Thank you so much for joining, Game Changer. And Game Changer, the link is pinned. Ladies and men are open to come on up, because I'm going to ask a couple of questions depending on who pulls up on me. So you're willing to come up as well, or open rather to come up as well. But regardless, thank you for stopping by. Okay, so with my oldest son, I'm no longer nursing him, but at the time I was nursing him and he hit up around like 5 or 6 months old. And my goal originally was to nurse him for at least 6 months. There's a lot of awesome facts around nursing, which includes reducing your chances of breast cancer and things of that nature. So if you're interested in nursing, ladies, go ahead and look it up. Anyway, my goal was 6 months. Once my first hit around 6 months, my husband was like, okay, girl, I want them back. I want all of my wife back. I want them titties back. So he told me it's time to go ahead and wean the baby up off of you. And y'all, I kid you not. It took me about 5 months to wean him because I wasn't as consistent as I should have been with weaning him off. And nurse babies, it can take them a minute. But it literally took me about 5 or 6 months to wean his child, y'all. And it was tough. And I knew that my husband had an expectation because he put in his order and said, hey, you need to start weaning this child up off you. He had put in his order and he was waiting for it to be fulfilled. And so every time I nursed him, it was just kind of like I still had his expectation within my mind. Look, okay, I need to quit playing before his patience gets shorter with me. Because if his patience gets shorter and he keeps bringing it up, he's saying, okay, baby, yada, yada, yada. Eventually, he's going to reach his limit. Ladies, let's not continuously tap, 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 tap and dance on the line, waiting for a man to explode once his patience has completely ran out, once his grace has ran out. That is not feminine. That is you being combative. That is you being difficult to deal with. Okay? I'm going to pull you guys up. Thank you so much for being here, Dre. And thank you for being a family member. I appreciate all of you for coming through. Let me go ahead and post this link again in the chat. And it is pinned if you want it to come up. I'm going to go ahead and add Fem Gems to the stage. And then Game Changer, I'm going to bring you up right after I talk to her. Hi, good evening. How are you doing? Okay, need a second? I can't hear you. Hi, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm so happy that you were able to catch the show.
Of course. I'll never miss an episode if I don't have to.
I appreciate you, honey. Well, I want to say this to you. First, I want to apologize to you because basically I didn't say everything that I could have or meant to say to you when you called up for what live stream was that? Self-esteem. Yes. Sometimes you get so caught up with having the chat and all this stuff. And so sometimes things, I lose a particular train because I've got several trains going sometimes at the same time. So I want to apologize to you because I just felt like I didn't give you what you needed or what you called for. So with that, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions. And this is concerning your looks, just to provide maybe some recommendations, just to get your mind perhaps going. So my question to you is, what do you think of knotless braids?
Oh, I actually braids. Any protective style that's low maintenance and easy, I'm here for it. Why'd you ask that?
Fantastic. I think the next time you're ready, to put a protective style in and everything, I think that maybe you should give some knotless braids a try, whether you want some color or no matter the different size. And the reason I recommend those, and I used to love me some knotless braids before locking up. The reason why is because I think knotless braids, even with the protective style, I think it gives whomever gets them a more polished look compared to getting twists and braids that have the knot at the root. You know what I mean? Like when they add the hair right at the root. You know what I mean? It gives you a more sleek look.
Yeah, I do prefer like a style. I love natural hair, kinky hair. Like if I do style, but it's kinky textured, or it's gonna be Marley twists because I love to embrace my natural roots. But I will do that. I definitely will do that. I think that'll be my next. Oh well, my next style is gonna be a kinky unit, a kinky curly unit. But I'll probably do some braids after that because I was gonna get my hair straightened and then do a kinky unit for graduation school, and then I'll probably do some braids. But yes, I can do that. I can definitely do that.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, you don't have to like explain to me your whole like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and that. But I'm just saying, I'm just recommending, just giving them a try because again, personally, with braids in particular, I like in like twists. I've never liked when they're installed in a super like chunky way, even if they're meant to be chunky. I personally, me, I've never liked how it just looks like there's a clump of hair right at the root. I just don't think it's polished looking. So, just a recommendation for you. And then I'm gonna say this one more thing, and then I'm going to bring Game Changer up, and we're gonna get back into the conversation. You say you like to look sexy. Of course, as we know, you can be sexy covered up, cleavage or no cleavage. And so I think like with certain ruching and patterns, it can curve and accentuate your body in certain ways, patterns, different bodycon dresses and bodysuits and things. And then I love me like a high-waisted skirt or jean. So maybe try some of those depending on how your hips are. I have more narrow hips and I still like the high-waisted. I think high-waisted jeans and skirts and things also look good on women who are more curvaceous as well. So I think it adds that kind of that contrast between what you got going up here and what you got going on down here. And then so you could put something plain and then something that's patterned. When it comes to fashion, I like if I'm wearing multiple colors, I like to pop out a particular color that maybe isn't as noticeable in an accessory, like an earring, or perhaps a little bit on the lid, or even in your shoe. So things like that are really good ways to spruce up your appearance, especially when you go out, because men notice little things like that. If you got a whole outfit on, you've got maybe a little bit of like orange or something in your outfit, and then you got popped it with an orange shoe, and it's off like a washed denim jean, and you're rocking it, and you're feeling yourself, and you've got your earrings on that maybe are a statement piece or not. I like statement pieces. I understand other women are more minimal. But men notice that those are eye catchers. Even if you're able to get a compliment, it's just you just want to, feel yourself. Try new things, try different silhouettes, necklines, okay? And figure out what looks best on you. People will give you compliments, you'll feel yourself, you'll know when you look good. And there was someone who I had in mind who I thought always looks really good but covered up, but for some reason I cannot think of who it is. But I'm sure you could find some folks, some women who who show that sensuality and sexiness in their wardrobe without showing cleavage or without showing all the legs and things of that nature. But coming in the future, ladies, I will probably dig a little bit deeper into just my recommendations on looks, skirts with what shoe and all that stuff. But that may be a totally different thing, maybe for members only, because, not everyone wants that type of content. But anyway, I just wanted to say that to you.
Thank you so much. Like, seriously, I Let me ask you this. Do you think that you can have an afro and still be elegant?
Yes, I do. Um, I think that there's differences between a kept fro and unkempt fro. And then of course your texture. But yes, I do think you can be elegant with a fro. It's all about how you do your fro. If you've maybe got a part in your fro, what do your earrings say? What does everything else say? See, that the thing is, when you're wearing your fro and your natural hair, it's important that everything flows. Okay. So maybe this style that I have my hair in with the bang and the low pony, it would look better in maybe another outfit if my hair was in a bun, or if my hair was down, or a middle part. A lot of women, they just keep this one hairstyle and they think this one hairstyle is, um, you know, fits all, one size fits all, and it's not. However, I think an afro can be, but it's all about what else you do with it. But yes, I do.
I appreciate all the feedback, and I'm going to apply this into my new year.
Awesome. You can stay up, you can drop off, whatever you want to do. I'm going to pull up Game Changer.
Would I be able to add to the conversation?
Yes. Let's see. Let me pull up Game Changer as well. Hold on, let me do this here. Okay. Hi, Game Changer. Thank you for coming up.
Oh, thank you for having me.
What's up? What do you have to say with everything we've got going on so far? You're just waiting for me to carry on the conversation.
No, well, I've seen very little of it, but the advice you've given, I really don't, as a man, I could say that we really don't know what goes into the recipe. We just know if it tastes good. And I can say that it does go a long way. It's the difference between, an average woman being attractive and an attractive woman being extraordinarily attractive. I mean, like, as a man, I can say that there are some women who have come off as inexplicably attractive. And that is because of the little things that they do, the details, like you say, the earrings, the way they dress or something like that. Even though if they were to ask me, I'm not going to say men in general, but I think a lot of men feel the same way. If they were to ask me, what do you like as far as dress and hair goes and things like that, I would say I don't know, but I would know when I see it, and yeah, it's just certain things that every now and again, I remember as a younger man, I don't know why, this one girl, who I probably otherwise wouldn't have been interested in, had blue nail polish on one day. And I just was like, oh, I don't, it just did something to me. So it is good that there's people like you that can, express that to other women. And because there's a lot of women who are naturally attractive, and there's a lot of women who, are not genetically gifted, but they can all benefit from this. A lot of women, I've seen women who are attractive, but I had some, and she told me she had 5 brothers. And I was like, okay, I could see that. I could tell that she wasn't at her full potential, the way she dressed and, the way she wore her hair and makeup and things like that. That's probably a byproduct of having so much masculine energy, growing up. So it is good that there are women like you that are exchanging notes, basically.
Oh, no, that's awesome. No, I appreciate your feedback, Game Changer. And I love how you made the distinction between, oh, yes, women may be pretty, pretty one and pretty two, but she's just, regular pretty, and she's extraordinarily pretty simply by, the way she keeps herself up, or, as we mentioned, the details in the outfit. So I appreciate that distinction. And because I do want to help the ladies kind of just, step it up, level up per se, step up their, appearance game, if you will, in order to help attract quality men, because we know y'all are, physical beings. We know. So let's do better. And that's I mean, like, when you feel better, when you look better, you feel better. And when you feel better, you behave better. So if you take care of yourself over the long run, you just have a free, aura about yourself and receptive aura about yourself, which is something that is definitely a positive thing to have radiating off of you when you're trying to get a man, a husband, quality man. So, yeah. Okay. So thank you so much for being here, Mrs. She Said, and thank you for being a channel member. Her and her hubby's in the chat. So I appreciate the two of you for being here and everyone else that we see in the chat. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get back into. Whoops, I forgot to turn off the loop. Okay, here we go. So we're going to go ahead and pull up the resume. Okay, so Game Changer, I know you had just popped in. So I created this resume, this future wife resume, about a year ago. I already went through the entire thing with the ladies in a past live stream, but I wanted to discuss it again today and go over just character and personality. So I kind of talked through a few of these things, and I would love to get the both of your feedback. And to those who are watching, you are welcome to come on up. The link is pinned to the chat. And mods, if I have any of you, please go ahead and drop that in the chat as well. But you guys are open to go ahead and chime in wherever you'd like as we go through this discussion. So as we see in front of us, we've got submissive, receptive. Even Brianna said she's working on her patience. So patient, being patient. Do I have patience down here? I don't. So yeah, that's an excellent one. Patience. Being faith or moral driven, minimal baggage, being classy, being goofy, having a fun personality, showing your personality, being kind and nurturing, and being honest and trustworthy. So, Game Changer, I actually wanted to ask you, do any of these pop out to you, stand out to you in terms of things that you are looking for, in your significant other, in your wife? Go ahead.
Absolutely. So I'm going to start with the middle. I'm going to start with funny and goofy. So people who watch my channel know that I selected a woman to be my online crush. And basically what that means is, I don't really crush after her literally, but basically what that means is when people ask what type of girl Game Changer likes, it would be this particular girl. And the woman is a YouTuber by the name of Kelly Stamps. And part of the reason that she's a popular YouTuber is because she is funny and goofy, and she has like a classy streak. I don't know, if she's submissive or kind and nurturing and things like that. But, those particular qualities are ones that really stand out to men. And I think that it's underrated how, because like you said earlier, men are visual creatures. Yes. But when you want to be placed into a category of wife for a man, you have to have something, you have to have as attributes that are greater than, just being visually pleasing, unfortunately.
Oh, I can feel that from where I am.
Get them together, Game Changer. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's funny. But no, you have to have characteristics that are more than just being visually appealing, because chances are you are not the most visually appealing woman available to him, if he is a reasonably quality guy, and you're also not the most visually appealing woman that he has ever seen. Kelly Stamps isn't even the most visually appealing woman that I've ever been with, or anything like that. But it's the other characteristics that put her into a higher category that we do value. Kind and nurturing. Yes, I did find myself subliminally attracted to these traits in a woman who I worked with. And by attracted to it, it was nothing more than that, because she was already wiped up, as she should be. And I'm not going to say the type of software I was building, but it had to do with kids, and she was part of, let's just say, research and development that dealt with that. And she would talk about kids all the time. She had a daughter, and she would talk about kids all the time. And I was like, wow, your husband is a lucky man because you are really into parenting. Like she was hired because she understood the psychology of kids, outside of her own parenting. But she learned it of because she was a parent. I was like, wow, your husband is a really lucky guy, for that reason. And then we as men, we also see it in other ways. Like if a woman has pets, and she's, exceptionally nurturing to those pets or something like that, or she was always that big sister that took care of, the other kids or nieces and nephews and things like that. And also, and this is also the case, if you just so happen to be a single mother, that does give sometimes, and I'm not saying go out and do it because it does diminish your value as a wife to a future potential mate. But if you are in that situation, be the best at it you can, because the guy is looking. We are looking at how nurturing you are. If you say something like, oh yeah, I could come by, just gotta wait till my kids asleep. Yeah, we're going to put you in a category if you say and do stuff like that. We're still gonna let you come by, but we're going to look at you a lot different after that. So be mindful of these things. And let's see. Minimal baggage. Well, I guess that's the antithesis of what I was just saying. Faith/morally driven. Now, okay, I don't mind a woman who is strong in faith, but I would take the morally driven over that. I mean, because basically faith gives the woman a motivation to follow a wife template, but if she follows it without external motivation, then that's great too.
I think that's an excellent point. I think what I heard in that particular, when you mentioned that you would rather your woman to be morally driven, what comes to mind is you want a woman who's essentially morally intact over being religious, in a sense of, going to church, multiple times a week, and, wearing, skirts and dresses from here to here, but maybe her actual character in life isn't spiritually intact. Rather being compared to someone who's morally driven, prayerfully, their standards of living actually, in all aspects, is, like I said, just basically intact. No matter if she's showing her shoulders or not. So I really appreciate your opinion on that. And then something that you mentioned, game changer, about being kind and nurturing, that I wanted to the ladies to particularly truly absorb, is the fact that men are watching. He is watching. He's paying attention to how nurturing you are or aren't. I do watch reality TV show. So I watch like Married at First Sight and stuff like that. And even like the what is it called? When you do meet people in the pods, I forgot what it's called. Love is Blind. Is that what it is?
Wait, yeah. One of those.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, more than like. If it's about marriage and meet people, I've watched it, okay? I've seen every season of Married at First Sight. It's kind of bad. But I've noticed quite a few times on those shows that quite a few men have pointed out the fact that he noticed that the woman was or wasn't nurturing. Like, oh, the current season with one of the couples, oh, she's super awesome with kids, and that really made me like her more, and I really loved seeing that side. Ladies, he's vetting you. Every single thing you do is a form of him collecting data to decide if you aren't his wife, if you're not wife material at all or for him. Go ahead. Someone has something to say.
No, that was just my chairs squeaking. But no, I will co-sign that. We are always watching, and the unfortunate thing, and this isn't something I'm proud of as a man. We don't tell you, and that's because even if you don't measure up in the nurturing category, we hope that you measure up in other categories, and we just keep you around for that reason. And I know that that's not, especially if you're here, that's not what you're looking for. So be mindful of that. We may not always tell you if we are dissatisfied because you haven't met the categories that are listed here.
Hi, Game Changer. Hi.
Hey, Kim Jim.
I wanted to say it was Micah and Paul, and it's a big investment. Marriage is the biggest, and it's very monumental. So if a man is going to risk it all, of course, what he did to me when he displayed that logic, I thought it was very admirable, And I saw that with Micah as well. There was such a strong disconnect, and I don't blame him. And I can't wait for the next season.
I know. I saw that they posted on Instagram. I said, "Oh, okay. I will be there. I will be there." And you know what's funny, ladies? And I know we talk about, masculine man, you gotta self-correct and all this stuff. But you know what's fun about having a husband, a man, a lifetime best friend is that when you watch things like that, you may end up saying, you may say, "Oh my goodness," and your man's like, what happened? And then next thing you know, you're telling him about the show and you two are watching it together. And that's a part of your hanging out time, your relaxation time. These are the boring times that modern women love, to speak down on. But those are the small things that I personally enjoy because I know one day my husband is going to have to go. One day I'm going to have to go. And these are the moments that I am going to be able to hang on to within my heart that were key and integral parts within our relationship, even though they're small. And that is just simply quality time together. Then, something happened and we'll be like, she shouldn't have dealt with it that way. Or I would have done this and that. And then we're getting to know each other more and more and deeper on how we would have dealt with this particular conflict in our relationship. So that's why I like watching relationship stuff, because I like analyzing the people's behavior. Maybe that's a part of the reason why I'm up here.
Do you ladies ever watch something that you don't really want to watch for the sake of your man?
100%. Yes, absolutely.
I believe that even if you're not interested in certain things, maybe your partner is, it's okay to not, if you don't deeply or not interested, that's okay, but you don't have to reveal that. But you can just like taking an interest, just even when they're passionate about it, it's pretty nice. I mean, you may not be passionate about it, but there's so many things that our friends or our loved ones that our family members talk about we may not be interested in, but we listen to them for the sake because we love them and we care and we want to be considerate, or we should be considerate at least.
Absolutely, 100%. Yes, I have watched and done plenty of things that my husband was interested in that I wasn't. Like, even if it's like, "Oh, let's go on a hike," and I'm just like, "You sure can't we just go to the gym?" And he's like, "No, I'm gonna go on a hike today." And guess where my little behind is going to be? On the hike. Okay. Behind him. Okay, let's go. Because those are moments where you two can bond, and then you realize, wait a minute, this isn't so bad. Ladies, this is you being receptive. This doing things, being open to doing these things, increases your femininity, increases, or rather displays that you are willing to submit. Ladies, you may not think that doing certain things equates to being faithful or equates to being nurturing or submissive or receptive, but a lot of these things do. But a lot of women don't seem to understand that when we say, "Oh, that's a combative woman. Oh, you're not being submissive," or whatever.
Yeah, I wanted to say, I'm sorry, were you done? Were you still talking? I'm sorry. I wanted to say I had dragged my friend who I love to volunteer. One of my hobbies is volunteering, and I had discovered this Black man fatherhood group, and I dragged her to this. I wanted to go personally by myself, but she was like just interested, and I was like, let's go, because it's about Black men developing and helping young brothers in the community that are in fatherhood to cultivate healthier relationships and give them the resources they need. And it was beautiful. And if we all just stay in our bubbles, we'll never see all the beautiful things that our community is doing for our people, you know? So it was just so nice to be altruistic and just to give back. And even though she wasn't interested, she ended up adding so much to the conversation. So even when you're not interested in something, you might be like, oh, wow, this was awesome. I should do this again. But I always like to add value to spaces.
Exactly. And then he doing things that he wants to do, that typically opens up moments for him to teach you something. So like for instance, my husband enjoys like cars. He has a Coyote that he has built. There's not a part in his car that he has not, taken apart, put back together, improved, or whatever. And so he, will go to car meets and talk, cars and stuff with other guys and things of that nature. And so now I know a whole lot more about cars and how they work and different engines and muscle cars and turbos and all of this, because I'm the one who's here and my husband is watching YouTube videos, or he's, like, oh, you want to come down to the garage with me while I fix this? These are ways for me to learn from him and to learn his passion and the things that he enjoys. Ladies, don't always stray away from the hobbies and the things that your man enjoys, or don't not take the invitation to be involved. Because remember, if he's here doing those things, if he's showing you those things, that means he cares for you. He wants to involve you in the things he enjoys doing. And that more than likely means if he's inviting you to do things such as hobbies, going to the gym, that means he is starting to integrate you into his life. That is a sign that he is vetting you to be his wife, if he's continuously including you in things like that. Get a clue, girl. Get a clue. But if you're combative, or if you don't want to join in, or if you are hard-headed, don't want to learn, don't want to listen, chop, chop. You have eliminated yourself from the running toward becoming America's Next Top Model. Okay.
So I want to
Yes,
say this, that Fem Gems, volunteering is also a way to show, your kind and what is that, kind and nurturing side. So, that is something that a man who comes into your life and, you probably just casually throw out there like, yeah, so while I was volunteering, that's going to perk his ears up a little bit. Because it's one thing for a man to be, once a woman has, accomplished physical attraction, which, just because of the way men are designed, most women do. But once you have accomplished that in his eyes, now he has to categorize you, and you want to put yourself in the best category, and, being kind and nurturing helps you to do that. And displaying it without directly telling him is a plus, definitely.
Instead of saying all that, what do you bring to the table? You're saying, my soul is the table. You can say things
The
like
chairs, the rug underneath the table. My soul are the dinner plates.
Don't say things like that, ladies. Say, in my experience with philanthropy and volunteering, I have learned to, to be more nurturing, or I've learned that I thought I liked kids, but I really, really love children, or I really, really love giving to the homeless, or whatever, right? And so in volunteering, I have learned this, or that has caused a passion for that, or whatever, which then tells me that I possess the possibility of being a good wife in this way. You know what I mean? Like, come on, ladies, get creative.
Well, let me ask Fem Gems, because I don't really notice. I don't have this perspective. Do guys ask that? I would assume that that's a YouTube topic of discussion, that guys don't actually ask that in real life. I hope not. I wouldn't. I don't.
I'm sorry. Ask what specifically? What Bella just said?
What do you bring to the table?
No, because no, they don't actually
I
ask.
hope not. Yeah, that's good.
I speak for all men, because there may be men that say it on the cyberspace, like, what do you bring to the table, or in the comment section. But in my everyday life, I don't see men saying that. I think that they may look at like their actions and their behavior, but I don't see men, or to my knowledge, I don't see men or hear men talking like that.
Okay, that's good, because I hate to think that people are taking these things too literally in real life and using it as a script for dating, because that won't work in your favor. And that's in most of the things that you hear here, guys. So
Arbitrary
don't. Yeah.
rules, regulations, it will really be damaging if you listen to everything. Some people are really living off of social media and what they're telling them to do, influencers, and it's asinine. So
It
don't do
is.
that. You might miss out on your good man doing that.
And also, at least the men aren't following that, because the women actually do the things that, not on social media, but I have been asked, "What's your 5-year plan?" And I like, really, did you really just ask that? It's like you just asked that cliched question from the Steve Harvey movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so, but that's good that men aren't actually saying, "What do you bring to the table?" That's yeah, like you say, it's asinine.
Absolutely. Excellent. Okay, so for those of you who are just coming in, thank you for being here. Please go ahead and hit the like button on your way in. I wanted to highlight a few comments from the gentlemen who are in the audience. Thank you for being here. Red Lipstick Vibes, I appreciate you for being here, ma'am. Isaiah, thank you so much for being here, sir. Okay, let's see what Sports Guru says. She has to be funny, respectful, honest, virtuous, nurturing, and feminine. And thank you for putting characteristics and things, gentlemen, in the chat, because, and if any additional ladies or gentlemen would like to come up, the link is in the chat and it is pinned. And Game Changer, I want you to answer this question once I go through some more of the comments, but go ahead and ponder it. Because I want to ask the gentlemen, go ahead and comment it. Gentlemen, if you don't want to come up on the panel, I want to ask, what are ways you can tell she is ready to be a wife? And I know, Game Changer, you are very witty, so I already know you probably got to answer right now. So, but go ahead and ponder it, everyone. What else? Let me see.
Can I ask a question when you're done?
Yes, you can. Bobby says honesty, self-awareness, and self-awareness are important. Isaiah says lead with your strengths that can enhance your life. What are you good at? Bobby says Fem Gems looks like a lady he used to date. Hint, hint. Okay, Bobby. She's single. Let me see. Mona says, touch grass, folks, and speak to people like people, not using social media talking points. Exactly. Okay, thank you for being here, Sheila. Lovely Sheila. I appreciate you. Okay, so Game Changer, I'm gonna hold on one moment, sir. Thank you for your patience. Go ahead, Fem Gems, answer your question, and then I'm going to get Game Changer with his opinion.
I wanted to ask the men, do you guys, sorry if there's my dog, if you hear sound, do you gentlemen believe that if a woman was recently divorced or is a divorce, do you guys frown upon that? Like, do you believe that she has to is it okay that she didn't have any experience of being a wife? Or are you guys against that? Did that make sense?
Okay, a little bit. It is a little muddled, but I see where you're going with this. You're basically asking, is it better for a woman to be divorced or long-term single, in a man's eyes?
Yeah.
So there was a time where I'm old enough to have seen the shift. There was a time where men would immediately assume that the guy was flawed if a woman is divorced and she's attractive and she has all of the outward appearance of a good woman. We would assume that, okay, this guy's just foolish. However, now times are shifting and guys are going to be, more receptive. They're going to examine the woman thoroughly more. And they're also going to examine the divorce. Now, if there's kids involved, this would give him the opportunity to do so because, if she divorced some, Dusty, then he's going to say, hey, wait a minute, why were you messing with a Dusty? If she divorced a decent guy, then it's like, wait a minute, why did you leave this guy? Especially if you meet him, because if she has a kid, then you probably would meet him eventually. Like, hey, this is the type of guy that I like to hang out with. Why did you divorce him? Then it's like, okay, you're divorcing guys for frivolous reasons, So it's rare that a divorced couple, a divorced woman is a plus in a guy, to be perfectly honest with you. Now, being long-term single is the better choice, even though that would be considered a red flag, but not necessarily as much now because there's so many barriers in dating that we do understand that there are a lot of quality women that are overlooked simply because the environment isn't conducive to getting people together. So, yeah, that's a real thing. Like we see someone who's 30 and single and it's like, wait, what have you been doing with the past, 12 adult years of your life? It's like, well, there really isn't a way for a decent woman to find a decent man in modern society. So she's probably been looking and it just took her some time. So, we're more forgiving of that than, if a person is divorced.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to know your insight on that. Okay. Do you?
Awesome. Okay, go ahead, game changer. In case you need the question one more again.
Sure.
What are ways you can tell, or men can tell, a man can tell that a woman is wife ready?
Well, that is a good question, and you may not like the answer, or I should say the single women that are listening may not like the answer. But time is the best teller. If you, and I know that's one thing that women lack, and that's the one thing that they don't want to invest. However, because marriages are a lot more volatile, meaning that they are less likely to sustain the test of time, now than in my grandparents' days. Very few people are doing like the whole 50-year anniversary anymore. And there's also an incentive that's given in modern relationships. There's divorce is incentivized, so we have to vet a lot longer than we do, and or than we did in the past, I should say. So yeah, time is the best teller on if a woman is wife material. And also, a woman can be just general wife material, but that doesn't mean that she's wife material for the individual man that she's with. My definition of wife material could be significantly different than Bobby's or Joseph's definition of wife material. I mean, it all follows the same template. Don't get me wrong. Like what you listed there is perfect, and I think that that's on every man's list. But what I mean by that is how much is it weighed? Like Bobby may value class over funny, where I'm the opposite. And, like the whole faith thing and things like that, the nurturing things. Some men don't even want children, So it varies from men to men, but the template is the same. It's just how much of an importance we put on each of those qualities. Yeah, so I kind of like lost where I was going with that. But all in all, time is the best teller for a man, if she's compatible with you. But I will say this, and I never pretend to be an angel or something like that. But if I do come across women, and I have, who are wife material, they're just not my wife material, and I see that, and I do make that clear. I don't string her along like I would somebody who I just don't like personality wise and wish to take advantage of. So, yeah.
I would say, like, not even just value wise, but even lifestyle wise. Like, if you're going to get on a man's program, something I've learned from the Wives Club, you have to really see his lifestyle and see if that's going to align with you. And are you willing to get on his program? Because it's not just values, but it's also his lifestyle, like, or, yeah, those things.
Exactly, his lifestyle, his, again, expectations. And a lot of women, I think, they label men to be narcissists when they cannot live up to this particular man's expectations. So maybe he's the type of man that, women may want. He may be the, man who's making, good money. He's ambitious. He's confident. He's, this and that. But, just like that, the video that's going viral of the doctor who denied like the 24 or something year old because he said that she's a liability based on her answers to him, kind of like similar in that regard. But he's a narcissist or this and that because they cannot live up to their expectations. And so, ladies, I want you to understand that maybe just because you do not fit his expectations, his program, or in his lifestyle, that doesn't mean that you're a bad apple. That doesn't mean that you're not wife material. That doesn't mean that, you're no good. That just may mean that you're not the one for him. And so if he is that type of man, as game changer, as to say that I'm not going to string you along, I'm not going to waste your time, it's just better for us to end it. Again, just don't take that as a rejection. Don't take that rejection fully to heart, because he's saving you in the long run. Because, hey, you may not be my wife, but that isn't to say that you're not a wife. He's just saying that you're not his wife. Because I say over here a lot, ladies, he's vetting you to be his wife. First, he figures out if you're wife material, if you're girlfriend material, and then he figures out if you're his wife. Okay? A man who finds a wife finds a good thing. But again, are you his wife? So that doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad apple if you don't necessarily match his expectations. Let's see what everyone says in the comments. Hi, International Quiet Storm. I appreciate you for being here, sir, and thank you for being a channel member. Brianna A says, that's hard for women who don't know what they want and don't ask the right questions before dating for marriage. It's not hard to follow a man who leads and wants you. Exactly, because he's not going to lead you into harm's way. Does anyone on the panel have anything to add?
I wanted to say that if you don't have the experience in dating, understandably, a lot of us were raised in single parent homes and don't know or don't have the knowledge. Give yourself grace. But just because you don't know doesn't mean you cannot access or learn. So there's so many courses and coaches out there that can help you and mold you if you want it. If the investment is worth it to you, you will make it. You will prioritize it, right? So that's an excuse. But yes, even when you're dating and you're talking and vetting and just learning about different men in this process, or courting, sorry, if it doesn't work, it's okay. It's a mismatch. Don't personalize it. Don't easily personalize it. Just be happy. And one thing that I've learned is that you shouldn't force anything. If it's not authentic, don't force or try to make it work. That resistance, if there's something there, like, explore it, but don't try to force yourself, because this is a lifelong thing. And I'm dating with intentionality, and I'm serious. And so, yeah, don't force it. Okay. That's all I wanted to say.
And I do want to emphasize the lifelong thing, especially since we're dealing with, and this was the first thing on your list, submissive women. Part of that, a large part of that, is the majority of life decisions that a submissive woman makes. She basically, once she submits to someone, he's going to make the overwhelming majority of the major decisions in her life. So the one big decision that a woman has that she didn't in the past, her father had this decision, but the one major decision that she has is who she submits to. So yeah, the importance of that is significant. So, and I don't know, that's more Bellarine's thing, you know, the woman's vetting procedure for that, but it is paramount, definitely.
Absolutely. I mean, ladies, I've talked about it a little bit. I plan to talk about it a little bit more this year. I've got a lot of things in mind for us to discuss this year. But in terms of things that a lady, a woman would look at that will tell her a man that this particular man is husband material, are and I'm sure Fem Gems could even, say some things in her teachings and from the wives club, and even with being over here, he will give you his time. He will give you or lend you his resources. So he may, give you some type of connection in some capacity. Maybe he'll say, oh, you want to do this? I know someone who's into that, who could help you, who can help launch you or whatever, right? So he will give you time. He will give you resources, which includes money, without you having to ask or beg. First time my husband gave me money, he just said, oh, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to break you off. And I said, oh, okay, thank you. I didn't have to ask. And that was a sign to me that, and let this be a sign to you, if a man does this for you and with you, ladies, that displays, that's him saying, I want to provide for you. If he's giving you time, again, if he's giving you resources, money, that's not something you have to beg for. If you have to beg, then maybe you're just there for him to skirt through. Okay. Other things that a man will give you is validation. If he sees a future with you, you're not going to be confused. You're not going to feel like you're in a situationship. He's going to be clear that he's going to make it clear that he's vetting you, that he's courting you, that you two are together. Okay.
More important. So, from my side, I have, what did you call it? Zoom or skeets? What did you call it?
I said a man to skirt.
Skirt. Thank you. I have given money to women that I wish to simply skirt with, or continue to skirt with. So I wouldn't say that that's like, I wouldn't say that that is the major qualifier, or the determining factor on, if he's looking for a skirt, or if he's looking, for, long term. Because I have invested monetarily in both. What I will say is that time. There are some women that I skirt with that I don't invest any time outside of the absolute minimum that's necessary to continue that aspect of the relationship going. Meaning I won't do things like that. Because you talked about how you watch the shows that he don't like, and I'm sure he watched the shows that you don't like. That is a better for me at least, that's a strong indicator. Like this guy just spent X amount of hours with me, just doing something like this, because he's investing this time in me and he actually enjoys my company. We don't really do that for a skirt. I mean, there are some guys that do, I'm sure, but and we also don't do that after the skirt. Like if you really are physically attracted to a woman, you may like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and then once I get it, then you find the time lessen. But But if he's, yeah, that's the best way I could say it, is time, especially if a guy has multiple options, which really means that he could be skirting somebody else, but he's watching, what's that, Married at First Sight with Fem Gems or Bella Rings, like like he could be out with somebody else skirting, but he would rather spend that time with you. So that's another indicator.
Thank you. Absolutely. No, I appreciate that, game changer, because I meant to bring that up when you said it the first time. So thank you. So ladies, game changer has been dropping a lot of gems that I agree with. And those are things that I experienced and noticed and saw in the beginnings of my relationship with my husband. Okay. He gave me his time. As I said before, we were spending time together and he posted what we were doing on Facebook. And that was when he had all his little friends and then skirts and whatever else. And one of them saw it and she was hot about it because he had given me his time. He now has shifted his focus from whomever, whatever, to over here, to me. And that is what told me that the fact that he was spending his time with me outside of work, outside of, other things that he needed to do concerning business and leisure, working out, things like that. He gave me his time. So ladies, game changer again has been dropping some gems. Time. And I was talking to one of my best friends. She's single and she's in the dating market. And she was telling me about a gentleman, and she was telling me how he was, chivalrous and, the things that he was saying. And I was just listening to her, and she's like, well, girl, you weren't saying much. I want to know what you say, what you think. And I told her, girl, this is a husband. And I'm excited to you. But the last thing I said to her, which was, just give it time. Give it time. Because he may be husband material, but he may not be the husband that you hope for or are looking for. And that isn't to say that men aren't flawed, because everyone's flawed now. And you're going to have to deal with certain things that may annoy you, or they may have, some things that they still have to go over, or heal over rather. Maybe still have a little trauma, maybe got burned or a little scathed from the last relationship. People come with those things, okay? So it isn't to say that people don't come with baggage in some form.
Yeah, I wanted see what a man does freely. Like, I agree with you, Bella. I definitely assess, what is he doing freely? Is he generous? I don't want to ask you. I just want to see what you want to do freely for me, whether that's, and I'm super grateful for whatever a man does for me. And then what Game Changer said, time is so important. But for me, my biggest is respect. I'm looking and seeing, can I revere this man? Because when those emotions are fleeting and I don't want to stand this man, can I respect him? And I need respect to be the biggest thing for me. And I naturally respect men, but I'm looking for that, like his lifestyle, his habits, his career, his masculinity, like all of that stuff. So that, and then if he's able to give me his time, because a man that's on his mission and vision, he ain't got time. But if he's willing to make time for you, that is so important. Don't underappreciate that. And if you lack appreciation for that, girl, call it quits. But that's what I meant to say.
Absolutely. Thank you. Game Changer, do you have anything to add before I go through the comments and super chats?
Yeah, one thing, and I before we move too far away from it, I think it's very important. This is really for the fellas. And I'm not a psychologist. I don't even have much respect for the science, to be perfectly honest with you. But I do know what projection is, and whenever a woman overuses the word narcissist, chances are she is that. She is projecting. And yeah, exactly. The word narcissist simply means a person that puts an extraordinary importance on themselves. By her calling you that, what she's essentially saying is, you're not putting enough importance on me. which means that she's putting in an extraordinary amount of importance on herself. So be mindful of that. And that is a really, really overused, that is an extraordinarily overused word in the Black community. The moment I hear that, I'm like a narcissist. That's, yeah, it's that's something to be very mindful of. I mean, I'm not saying that it's a bad deal. Maybe she picked up the habit from somebody else. Maybe you are one, but chances are you're not the only guy that she called that. Not many people are narcissists in actual life. And she's really saying that you're not thinking about her enough. So yeah, be careful about that.
Game Changer said, I'm tired of y'all using this word narcissist and not on my watch.
Not on my watch. Not on my watch.
Bella.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Bella, I wanted to offer, if possible, if I could offer some things that the ladies could put on their resume. Because, girl, I was in a conundrum when I was making this resume. I'm not going to lie.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. We are certainly going to pull it back up. So I'm going to, you guys stay on if you'd like. I'm going to just take you guys off of the screen so I can go through the super chats. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Firstly, we've got Joseph. Thank you so much for being a channel member, first of all, sir. And thank you for your $10 super sticker. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you to Chavis for the super chat. And he says, for the fire topic tonight. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you for being a channel member. And lastly, we've got Ro. Ro is in the house. Thank you so much for your $10 super sticker. Thank you so much for being here and for your donation. Okay, fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and pull you guys back up. Let's see what the chat is saying. So I love FemGems, how FemGems said respect. Respect, ladies, is very, very important. You claim you love this man, but you don't respect him. If you don't respect him, that equates to you not loving him. And ladies, men require respect. Masculine, protecting, leading, providing, and teaching productive men expect and need respect. And if you cannot show him that, and if you do not give him that, it will not work. And how can you expect for a man to respect you when you're not giving him the respect that you are expecting? Treat those how you want to treat others, how you want to be treated. You cannot treat people like trash and expecting to be treated like royalty. That is not how the world works. Okay. Please like the video, share, and subscribe. Okay, we're going to pull this resume back up. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here, if you're just coming in, we are talking about the wife resume. Ladies, do you think your wife ready? Do you think you are ready to get up under a man's program, to submit to a man's order? Again, we're talking about a good man. Leading, protecting, providing, teaching. A man who is not lazy, a man who is emotionally available, emotionally intelligent. These are the types of good men who I refer to over here. The dusties, the absentee fathers, the men who lack ambition, those type of men are not worth my conversation. So I don't refer to them here. I don't make recommendations to ladies to prepare them for those types of men. Why would I do that? That's counterproductive. Okay. So Ladies, we're talking about, again, the wife resume. Are you submissive? Are you receptive? Are you sexually disciplined? We know that most people, especially nowadays, women in particular, are not virgins when they get married. Okay. If that's what you're going to do, that's what you're going to do. So the implication here to be in which it says kept, that means, again, you are sexually disciplined. You're not open and willing for the taking and entering of every single Johnson who comes your way who says you're cute. Okay? Be honest about this. Ladies, if you realize that you have gone down a sexual slippery slope, go ahead and snatch your ponytail right now and get yourself together. Stop. Because you're degrading your value. And you're spending yourself to people and lending yourself and giving yourself away to men who you don't have a commitment to. Thus leaving yourself empty, broken, dissatisfied, disgruntled, unhappy, mad, used and abused, and again, empty. Okay? There is no fulfillment with casual hookups. Okay? Stop it. That's lessening your value. That's degrading your value. Okay? So go ahead, Fem Gems. You say you have some recommendations in terms of some things that ladies could put on their wife resume under this particular section, character and personality. Go ahead.
Not under this particular section.
Okay.
Well,
Go ahead.
You have a skill section? You have a skill section?
I do. I have a, let me see, hold on. Yeah, I have a competency section, which could be considered to be the skill section, but we're discussing the character and personality section tonight.
Oh, okay. Oh, they never.
But please hold on to those because I know they'll be good because I know you are teaching. Celine, delete your comment, honey. We don't need to know. I did it for you. Okay. That's great. But we don't need that to be public. Okay, honey? That's a conversation for you and whomever you're in a relationship with. But continue on with being virtuous. Okay.
It's not a conversation for us either.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least not for me, because, like, ask no secret, tell no lies. Like, I mean, a woman could just pretty much say any number. I'm not saying that that's what Celine is doing, but I'm not going to ask, and I'm not talking about you individually. I'm not going to ask a woman I date what's her body count, because, like, why?
Exactly. I mean, that's typically a question. The body count question is a question a man will ask.
Oh, they do ask that?
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Men ask that question?
Yes.
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 See, I've heard that men typically ask when they're possibly considering her for a serious relationship or once they're in the serious relationship. I don't think that's a question that should be asked like immediately, but that's my opinion. Isaiah says body count question is for marriage. See? Yeah, I think that's odd to ask that at the beginning. But if a man is vetting you to be, his wife, and if you two are serious and you have that the safety within your relationship for that type of question, then I think that that's appropriate. But if he asks that before you two are like in a commitment, that's his prerogative. Maybe he's starting to smell a little hoe on you. Okay. So maybe that's why he want to ask. But each man is different. Anyone else have anything to add to that while we kind of get back into it?
I was just saying that doesn't. I don't ask because no matter how interested I am, because it really doesn't sway my interest one way or another. I mean, of course, if it's something outrageous, but that will manifest itself in a personality. But it don't really sway me if it's 20 or 2 or I don't. I don't know. I just never cared too much.
Absolutely. I understand where you're coming from, game changer. I mean, confidence. I think in my opinion, a man in particular who maybe doesn't ask that, maybe he's just confident in his vetting ability in other aspects. So he may not think that's necessary. So yeah, I totally get both sides of if a man asks and why he asks, or if he doesn't. So okay, anything else the two of you have to add? And the link, ladies and gentlemen, is in the chat. The link to the the link to come on up is in the chat, and it is pinned. If any last folks want to come up before we close out this conversation, but I've definitely enjoyed it. Go ahead, Fem Gems or Game Changer.
Yeah, I was looking at the chat room. The reason why I don't really, I'm not going to say I don't care, but I try not to hold it against, like, and maybe it's because I'm older, but I try not to hold it too much against the woman if she had to kiss a lot of frogs in order to find her prince. Um, so I don't really put much on that, or and then also, and this is something that I found when I was younger, for a woman, there's really no good answer to that question. I know that some of you ladies may think that 0 is a good answer to that question. It's not. I'm a freak. So, it's yeah. Why would I ask a question I know the answer is going to turn me off? Like, I mean, it's you could say 0, but it's like, wait a minute, you're 27. That's so. What have you been doing? I know what you have not been doing. So there isn't a yeah. But that's just me. I do notice that to the fellas in the room that um in this space, I do notice that I'm unique in that regard.
Yes, Game Changer. We know you are unique because we know you are not afraid to give your opinion. But I respect and I appreciate your perspective.
I think that women can have some self-restraint and still date and not sleep around with a man. I mean, all it does is just add emotional damage to us, and then potentially the risk of STD or STI or pregnancy, and then you have to figure out whether or not you want to. And then, maybe a potential, I think that you can date and not open your legs up. You can kiss him, but you don't have to open your legs up to him.
But I want you to. So, like, that's so yeah. I mean, like, why would I? And that's what I'm saying. It can always go against you. The answer can always go against you. Is because
The door.
I'm changing now. It's
no,
11.
I'm no. What I'm saying, okay.
You decided to you
No,
chose
I didn't
violence.
mean
No,
to.
I'm messing. Go ahead.
No. What I'm saying too is that whether a man wants a wife or a skirt, he still wants that. So it's not going to work to your favor being labeled as a prude either. So, and even if you have a low body count just from lack of opportunity, it's still going to it's going to hit the guy, and let's just say me in this case, is going to hit the wrong way. Like, either the number is going to be too high or too low. There isn't like, oh, that's the perfect number. Like, there isn't a perfect number for a woman to answer that question with. I'm sorry, ladies. It's not. So I would, and you talked about something interesting. You say that, it causes emotional and psychological damage. And yes, it does. And when that's apparent, then it's apparent. Like I sense that, because basically asking that question is asking a woman, are you emotionally or psychologically damaged? And she's not going to answer that honestly. So, I just wait and see, like, if she's psychologically and emotionally damaged, then I know that, it's probably due to that, or her number is where it is because of the emotional and psychological damage. Like, she started off that way, you know. But either way, it's the emotional psychological damage that's off-putting, not the number.
Okay. Do you
So
think that the quality and the people she sleep with matter, or no?
yes, it does. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I can't stress that enough. I have been turned off, and I actually said to women on more than one occasions, like, you actually slept with that, and then I use the N word. Like, and yes, it is a complete turnoff.
Mm.
Then it's like what? Yeah, absolutely. The quality of man does matter.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I just want to say that I don't think hookup culture serves us as women, especially when you're really working on your femininity and increasing yourself as a woman. If you've been in the streets and you've started to reclaim yourself as a woman, big up to you, because when you are in that place, it leaves you in such a broken place, and you just the spiritual damage it does to you, and all of the work you have to do to work on yourself and fix those things and address those things. It's a lot. The sexual, I'm sorry, I don't know if I can say that word, liberation movement has really lied to us, because
It has.
it has lied to us in so many ways. So if you want to carry yourself, and when you see that he's really going to invest in you and, appreciate you and value, okay. And if you believe in hooking up, cool. But I would say, until you meet a quality man that you're going to be serious with, don't just be loose with yourself. Because when you have to go in that bathroom and look at yourself in that mirror and you are ashamed and you're broken because of all that you did for what is it, 35% of women can't even get their climax. We also have to talk about the how we don't relate to seg in the same way men do or don't, and not only that, how we don't get the climax. Mostly they can, and let's just be honest. I mean, you're just better than a hand, honestly. So I mean, that's all I want to say. But I understand where you're coming from. I do totally get where you're coming from. But I do want to speak to the women that are trying to heal their femininity and those wounds. It's so important to start carrying yourself better, because not only are we talking about, are you a wife, like, are you embodying that, right? Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I want to say this about hookup culture. Hookup culture is designed in a way to benefit unattractive women. But in the long term, it doesn't benefit men in the long term. And it most certainly don't really benefit attractive women. So yeah, and when I say, body count don't matter, but yeah, if she did willingly participate in hookup culture, then it really shows that she has characteristics and attributes that I'm not necessarily interested in.
Okay.
So, for that reason. But yeah, you're right when you say that it doesn't benefit the rank and file woman or man, just the unattractive ones.
Okay, well, thank you.
Mhm.
And I'll say this before we wrap up the wife resume conversation. And I kind of said this earlier. Ladies, if you are going to be having sex, be wise. Don't just allow everyone to have a piece of your virtue, because it is going to leave you broken, unsatisfied, and single. Okay. Now, with that, how do I say this? If a man wants you, he will keep you, whether you do it day 2 or day 20, day 20 or day 200, because it is about your character and your personality and your other things. Okay. So the whole 90-day thing is, I wouldn't personally say like, oh, do the whole 90-day thing. But what I'm saying is, if it, as an adult woman, if that's what you're going to do, please do it with wisdom. And please consider your faith and moral values in your choices and the implications that come with them. If you call yourself a Christian and if you are having premarital sex, you are going to have to meet your maker and be accountable for those decisions. This is with any decision you make. There is accountability that comes with every single decision that you make. And again, if you call yourself a Christian, remember those moral things when you make decisions in the dating market. Okay. But again, a man who is a husband and who wants a wife and who is of noble and good character, the 90-day rule is not going to get him to stay if you are not the woman he is looking for to wife. No matter how good the cookie is, okay? If you have, you know what I mean? I hope it makes sense. I hope I'm not speaking in circles.
Well, no, I mean, about the 90-day rule. So one year, I think it was like 2013. I know because it was New Year's, so it was going into 2013. A woman said to me that she had a 90-day rule. I said, great, I'll call you in April. So what does that even mean? Like a 90-day rule? That's the dumbest thing Steve Harvey said. I mean,
I'm not, I think Band-Aids. That's what I'll say. But my point is, ladies, with this point on the character and personality side and section of the wife resume, and the reason that I put kept, and particularly sexually, is because it displays again self-discipline. If you're
agreed.
willing and able to be disciplined sexually, that means you will not or may not be, how do I say this?
Like easily tempted? Like
Thank you. That's exactly what I was looking for. Easily tempted. So, and I've talked to my husband about this, and we've had joking conversations about this, but I've said to him, because he'll joke about, oh, some dude coming up, whatever, right? I said to him, honey, I have been called beautiful, gorgeous, pretty, all these things for my entire life. And although I am not perfect, and although, I continue to ask the Lord for strength and perseverance in whatever capacity, right? And in being faithful to my husband, that is something in terms of temptation that I have been able, through the things I've been through within my life, through men stepping up to me in different capacities, that is something that I have not struggled with. And I pray that I don't have to deal with it or even, come across something that's, could be deemed as, possibly entering into that door in which is no return. Because I know if I decide to go down that road, I will lose a good man. Okay.
Yes.
But again, yes, that is not something that I personally had to deal with, but you have to be careful. You cannot put yourself in situations like that either. Go ahead, Fem Gems.
Yeah, like it's simply you've been conditioning all yourself all of these years. So when a man comes to you, oh, nope, nope, I'm not gonna be easily swayed by this. No, absolutely not. But I also wanted to say quickly that you know how we pedestalize our box, and seg is a soul. Like this is it's to me, I see it as sacred to offer myself and to give myself to a man. If I would not be able to say that, if he could be the father, well, that don't even matter because women are be having kids out of wedlock anyway. But if I'm going to lay down with a man, I want to know that I can respect and he could be the father of my child, because that is so important. Like it's not like, why would you just lay down with somebody with a poor charactership? You know, why would you just offer yourself so willy and like not value what you it really, and we as women, we just don't relate to sex the same way. I mean sex the same way, and we've been so decided that we do as men, and it's just it baffles me that we don't well, I can't be mad that women don't understand that, but I need you to understand that we don't relate. We do get more emotionally involved. It's facts. And then when we get mad when we say, well, I have this box, and we pedestalize our box because we think it's the best thing, and I didn't have to come hard. I didn't have to show my work. I didn't have to earn you. I didn't have to work for it. All I had to do was open up my legs and show you and give it to you. And that's not good. That's unacceptable. There should be more that you offer, not just that. Because yeah, seg is nice, but what's gonna withstand the time? Your character shit. Like, are you gonna make yourself available to him? Are you willing to, be more than just like, just intimate? There's so much more.
Exactly. What is going to stand the test of times?
Right.
Your character and your personality, as well as your competencies, but we're going to talk about that another time. So, ladies, I know we've talked about a lot here, but I want to bring the conversation back to your character and personality. What are some things about you, about your personality? Are you all artistic? Are you outgoing? And whatever other additional, characteristics that you see as positive, as beneficial. Does your personality, your good personality, rub off on others? Are you warm? Men notice that. Are you a warm person? Because you could be all pretty and X, Y, and Z. You got a pretty exterior, hair all done, nails, makeup, popping. But maybe you're not warm when you're approached by, in particular, a stranger. If someone who's less fortunate than you, if they walk up to you and ask you for something, how are you treating that individual? That tells and that shows a lot about your character as well. So, ladies, let's be honest about our strengths, but particularly our weaknesses. Where are we lacking? So we can go ahead and seek help, seek counseling, have the conversations with friends, with family, or with yourself, with God, or whomever you need to journal it. Have these conversations with yourself and be honest, because that is what creates the self-improvement that we need in order for you to evolve to this good woman who we speak of. A good woman makes a good wife, and a good wife makes a good mother. Ladies, I talk about over here the different levels in evolution that you need to be willing to take on in order to become this quote unquote pinnacle wife and mother and woman. I'm not saying I've reached a pinnacle. Obviously, I'm a very flawed individual. But at the very least, let's start to inch our way toward better outcomes in our life, better character, better judgment, better discernment. But it starts with humility. You cannot do the self-work and self-reflection if you do not humble yourself. Because being a wife takes humility. Being a mother takes humility. Y'all, I have picked so many boogers out of my son's noses And do you think if I felt like I was all of that in a bag of chips and all of this is beneath me and yada, 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 do you think I would be willing to stick my finger up in some little babies' noses? No. Do you think I would be willing to make sure my husband's nose and mouth and everything doesn't have crumbs and things all over him? No. All of those things serving takes humility. And even receiving the things that your husband has to give and the love even that your children give you. I urge you to take those things and be humble and not saying I deserve. Okay? But that's all I got. Any gonna have anything else to say in closing before I let you guys go?
Yeah, again, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to come up here. Thank you for all you do. I love you so much. Thank you, Game Changer, for just giving a different perspective and insight. And again, ladies, had I known the things I know now, I would have done things differently. One thing where I fell short is that I pedestalized my box. I thought, okay, I offered this box and that's how I'm coming. But don't do that. Don't do that. Don't be lost by the wrong things. Don't think that you should lead with that. That is not what's going to keep him. And you may get him, but will you keep him? Right? Don't listen to certain people saying that it's just whatever and it's casual. It's not. It's deeper for us. And it matters. Carrie, if you want to be a wife and this is the conversation, you have to embody it each and every day. You got to be consistent in what you're desiring, right? That spirit of being a Savius and Lewitt, it's not cute. It's not cute. So work towards being a better woman every day, and you can do it.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bye. Go
Okay,
ahead, Game
so yes, thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it. I didn't plan to come up, but when you gave me opportunity, I couldn't resist. So I enjoyed being here. I enjoyed having this conversation. I enjoyed giving my point of view. I just want to make one final thing clear about the 90-day rule. I am not telling women, if and when they should do anything in that regard. That's not what I'm suggesting. What I am saying is that. What I am suggesting rather is that let the chemistry decide, because if what you're doing is just waiting for like a benchmark or a deadline, like 89 days is the cold shoulder, then 90 days is just like ding, and for him he's confused, like, wait, what happened? The mood was there 2 weeks ago or something like that, or the mood isn't even there, but and the mood might not even come for another 2 months, but because it's a rule, rules are rules. Like, don't that can really be confusing in my opinion, for guys. So I probably wouldn't recommend doing that for that reason alone. But have your own, use your best judgment. Don't go off of Steve Harvey's judgment, because his whole analogy for doing it, which I thought was weird when I seen the movie, was he said, I worked for Ford Motor Company and they put their employees on a 90-day probation, in order to see if they were serious and if they were going to be good employees. And I'm thinking like, yeah, but you don't still work for Ford Motor Company. So like that 90-day rule that they put on you didn't really help you stay there, because the moment you got another opportunity to be a comedian, to be a game show host, you took it. The moment something better came along, you dropped Ford and its 90-day rule and you went to the next shiny thing. So it really didn't help in that regard. I just think that is flawed. I'll just leave it at that. Once again, not telling a woman when to open her box or anything like that, but I just think that particular as a rule is very flawed, and I'll leave on that.
I understand what you're saying, and thank you for coming up, Game Changer. I appreciate it, and your opinion's always valued. And I will say, you always provide some type of entertainment, which we appreciate over here. So thanks for hopping up here at Game Changer, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. I know you've got a few hours left in your day, so You
Yeah.
enjoy.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, everybody. I did not expect to go 2 hours, but I really hope the ladies got something from out of this conversation. Joseph says retired Navy captain here. So that is an Army 04, in case those of you don't know. Shout out to the veterans, Army vet over here. So thank you for your service, sir. I lost count on how many sailors were hurt trying to turn a 304 into a housewife. Self-control means more than you think. A lesson. Spin facts in the chat, but I appreciate all of you for being here. We're going to go ahead and get out of here because it is late. But I appreciate all of you for hanging back to have the conversation with me. I enjoyed it. And I hope again the ladies learned something from us going over that character and relationship portion of the wife resume. If you want a once over overview of this, ladies, go ahead and hit the join button, become a member, even if you only become a member for a month, so you can go ahead and view the video, the live stream that I had. It was about a year ago, and I think I entitled it "What's on Your Wife Resume." You'll see it. Go ahead and check that out and create a wife resume for yourself, not necessarily to bring on a date, but just to kind of put where you are onto paper so you can see essentially where you are, where your value is on paper, and even to point out some things in some areas on which you can improve toward this goal and becoming that good woman who will become a wife and a mother. Okay. But again, that's all I have for all of you tonight. I appreciate all of you for being here, for all of the love, the support, the comments. I love you guys so much. I value you and I appreciate you. So on your way out, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. The truth has been signed, sealed, and delivered by yours truly. If you like the content you see, then please, again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And please share it with any girls or young women who you think would benefit from this information. And until next time, I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
It's a no for me, dog. I don't think it was really.
But your life does not. Oh my God. Oh my God.
The doll.